Happy Friday! Welcome back to Business as Unusual. My name is Megan. I'm from Greater London Properties. I hope all of your family are keeping safe and well. Just to give a little bit of an introduction for those people that are joining us brand new today, Greater London Properties created a Facebook support group called Central London's Lockdown Support Group. This is just to provide that channel and that platform for local businesses, open or closed, organisations and different charities, just to promote their business. Now, today is our 5th live streaming, and it's absolutely fantastic that we've been able to meet the people behind the businesses this week. I've really enjoyed it, and we are continuing at 11:30 every day next week as well. But just to finish this week off with a huge bang, we've got Lily Suter Nutrition with us today. Hi, Lily.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're really pleased to have you. You're great. I've known Lily for a number of years now, and it's just been absolutely wonderful to see her business grow and just for her to grow into such an expert in her field. So I feel very privileged to know her. Lily, tell us a little bit more, for the people that don't know, a little bit more about your business and how you got started.
So I really got into nutrition because I struggled with awful chronic psoriasis. So it's a skin condition. And this was when I was a child, and sort of my parents took me everywhere to every sort of healthcare practitioner you could find in order to alleviate this condition. And I think nutrition was one of the biggest things that helped me. So upon seeing a nutritionist, dietary changes helped put the condition into remission. And once I'd seen how powerful food was, I decided to do all my training to become a nutritionist so I could help others. So I trained at Newcastle University, and there was lots and lots of research going on there with the nutrition degrees, which was super exciting. And I went on then to do another 2 years doing nutritional therapy, to sit down with the individual, to hold consultations, and just completing at the moment my MSc in nutritional medicine. And again, there's amazing researchers there looking at things like intermittent fasting, obesity, diabetes, brain health. It's just really, really fascinating. And over the last couple of years, I guess a core piece of my business is hosting corporate wellness interventions or programs, but nutrition focused ones. So I will go into offices and host things like lunch and learns. So these are different talks on well-being to support employees with their overall health and well-being, to aid with productivity, and things like clinic days as well, where I sit down with individuals to support their overall well-being from a dietary point of view. So that's sort of like where I'm at. And I do see clients on an individual basis in Chelsea, and also at a medical practice in Notting Hill.
That's fantastic. And I suppose the work that you're doing at the moment as well, kind of like still spreading the news about nutrition. I know that obviously with the corporate wellness and everything like this, it does relieve people kind of going to the NHS. It improves people's immune systems and creates them, as you said, to be a lot healthier. So it's also supporting the NHS at the moment with kind of like what you're reaching out with as well.
I think health and wellness, we have to look at it from a holistic point of view. So diet does play a key role with things like energy, cognitive health. It will play a role with immune function, but also in things like mood, energy, I guess weight management. But also we've got to look at things like psychological support, exercise, our general lifestyle in terms of our structure of our working day. So things like stress. And all of this fits under a very holistic approach to well-being. And I'm very much focusing on preventative health. So how can we support people in a way to make them feel as best as they can be, but also potentially help to reduce the risk of certain chronic diseases.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. It's wonderful to hear all of this. Also, tell us a little bit more about how you're currently coping, because obviously you're not able to do your events or corporate wellness, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess one of the big parts of what I was doing was going into offices to host these talks and webinars. And I think the day that the lockdown was announced, suddenly you get an email where most of my bookings had either been postponed or cancelled. So obviously for that first week, I was under huge stress, anxiety, thinking, oh my God, how am I going to cope for the next couple of months? Or, you know, when you feel very unsettled, it's very difficult. But I guess now I'm in much better routine, and actually having things like Zoom has been amazing. So I've been hosting a lot of webinars to companies, so looking at topics such as, I guess, immune function, mood. One of the most popular topics that I've been hosting is a webinar on smart eating strategies when working from home, because a lot of people are not used to working at home and their dietary choices changes when they're at home, so it's been really, really popular. But online webinars, I've been doing a lot of online clinics via Zoom. So what's interesting is just seeing how we can still conduct business virtually. And interestingly, on these webinars, you can have as many as 300 people viewing them. So it's been super exciting. And I've got some cook-alongs coming up as well, where there'll be live cooking demos online where people will buy the ingredients and cook along as well at the same time. So just navigating different ways of working, really.
It is all about thinking outside the box at the moment, isn't it? Where are people able to join your cook-along sessions?
So at the moment, a lot of these are private in terms of they are specifically booked by companies to support their employees. But I do a lot of Instagram live or Instagram videos and recipes there as well. So it's probably the next best place if it's just for the general public. They should definitely head over to my Instagram page to have a look there, where they'll get lots of tips and tricks in terms of, I don't know, smart cooking strategies.
That's fantastic. And I don't know if you saw on Wednesday, but we also spoke to Hospitality for Heroes, and they basically encouraging kind of like a 1 minute Instagram video and then kind of nominating lots of chefs. So yeah, if I do one, I'm going to nominate you. I know I am. Now you have featured on many different TV shows, such as This Morning, the ITV's Save Money, and also was it Dr. Ranj Singh's Lose Weight?
Yes, Save Money, Lose Weight. Yes, amazing.
And NBC, which is phenomenal. A really good track record. So really well done on that. And on all of these, you have been giving expert advice. I know that a lot of people tuned in today would absolutely love some advice. Just because obviously we are finding that we're at home like everybody else, and our fridge is in arm's length and frequently visited. So it's just it'd be great to hear what advice you have for people to stay healthy during lockdown.
I think you're completely right, because often people's home offices tend to be in close proximity to the kitchen cupboards, the fridge. Most of us don't have a separate sort of home office or desk space, so it can be very difficult. And I think structure and routine sometimes goes out the window. But I guess my biggest piece of advice is to have a little bit of structure and routine within your day. Eating your meals away from your desk and your laptops can massively help with, I guess, portion control. There's been lots of interesting research on attentive mindful eating, which is basically just being engaged when you're eating. And I guess research suggests that our consumption of fruit and veg completely drops when we are distracted and munching away near the laptops or TVs or phone, and our intake of sort of maybe more processed foods increases. There was another really interesting study where they had like a large group of people and they split them into two, and one group ate their lunch distracted playing computer games in front of their laptop, and 30 minutes later that group ate 50% more biscuits than their non-distracted counterparts. So I guess it's really basically taking the lunch break if you can, eat away from your desk, Eat slowly, so it takes about 20 minutes for our brain to actually register that it's full. Chew thoroughly, so savor the flavors and enjoy your food. Put your knife and fork down between each mouthful if you can, just to slow things down. And we tend to basically better regulate our hunger and fullness cues, and it just reduces that unnecessary snacking. But preparation, I think, is going to be something which is important as well. So if you have the right foods to hand in your cupboard, you're probably going to make better food choices.
And thank you so much for that. With obviously in the evenings and stuff, do you usually prepare that beforehand, just so that you? Because what I find as well is at the end of the day, I'm quite tired, and then I go into the kitchen and kind of try and think of something creative, but then end up going towards the processed foods. So is there any kind of tips on how to like stay prepared in that way, or freeze food?
Yeah, so I honestly don't think healthy eating has to be complicated by any means. And I sometimes think simple 5-ingredient meals can suffice. But what I am a big fan of is batch cooking. So if you are ever cooking, I would always aim to make more than what I would usually require. And I would dish the rest of the portions in a Tupperware ready for lunch the next day, or for a healthy ready meal at a later date. The one thing I do find, and this is with my clients, but also personally, is that during the working week, when you are working from home, you know, we still don't necessarily have time to start cooking a whole new meal at lunch. So having something really quick and easy, which is already in your fridge, which you may have prepped the night before, can be super handy. And leftovers are really good as well. So making more than you need and having the leftovers, which reduces that cooking time.
That's really handy, thank you. What would you say, just out of interest, because obviously I bet you've tasted lots of different healthy foods and created lots of really nice recipes. During lockdown at the moment, what recipe would you say is your favourite that you've kind of created or put things together at the moment?
Well, I've really enjoyed making things like dal and sort of like soups and stews. And the reason for that is because I guess there has been a period of time where we've struggled to get supplies. So it's a recipe you can put together, which is cheap to make. You can batch cook it, you can freeze it, but also a lot of the ingredients are sort of store cupboard essentials. So you've got things like lentils, beans, chickpeas, those sorts of things. Can, you know, be a really great source of protein, but fiber. They're one of your 5 a day, and they've got a long shelf life and they taste good. But the other thing as well, which I would just mention, I have been using quite a lot of frozen foods as well. And often people think that they're not as nourishing as fresh, but they are. So things like frozen avocado blends really well into my smoothie in the morning. It gives it a lovely sort of creamy flavour without loads of saturated fats. You can defrost frozen avocado and mash it onto toast. So that's super simple to put together as well. And lots of frozen berries and veg can blend really well into smoothies.
That's really interesting, because I have always thought about the nutritional value of frozen food. So I'm really glad that you've mentioned that. Thank you so much for joining us today here, Lily. It's been really, really great to speak to you. I hope people tune into your channel. And obviously, as Lily said, that if she's creating these webinars for companies, if you are a corporate company or just a business that want to improve your staff's corporate wellness, workplace wellness, get in touch, and then Lily might be able to create a webinar for you and your staff. And also, if you follow her on Instagram, I've also seen that she regularly posts different meals that she's having throughout the day. So she'll post her breakfast, she'll post her smoothies, and she will post her evening meals as well. So just to give you a little bit of inspiration, because if you're following Lily's meals, you can't go wrong. So Lily, just I know that your website, so if people want to kind of get a lowdown on specific topics, Lily is often in the media. You also write for different kind of newspapers and magazines, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Which ones do you usually feature in?
A whole range, really. So I've just submitted some comments for Women's Health, for the Express, for Daily Mail. Sorry, so a whole range of different national papers, but also some magazines, and it's usually on sort of the latest topics that are of interest. And I guess things like vitamin C was the one that I just submitted recently, which is probably of interest to a lot of people.
Perfect. You can check that out, guys. A lot of these news articles and blogs are on her website. I've been scrolling through them during this time as well. And it is lilysuiternutrition.com. So we'll put that on this link afterwards, just so that you can all click through this. And also, so Lily, your Instagram is?
Lily _suiter_nutrition.
Perfect. So get following, guys. We'll also share this video on YouTube and Instagram as well, just in case you want to watch it again. And like I said, we're going to be back next week at 11:30 every weekday. So if you are a local business and you haven't got in touch with us yet, get in touch if you want to talk with me. Thank you so much, Lily. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye. Thank you for all your tips. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.